welcome to Responsible Chicken Breeding. I'm here with Jim Atkins, who cannot ever let me get through this without laughing, so I'm going to give up soon. So, hi, Jim. How's it doing?
Hey, good. I'm so excited about our show today.
Yep.
It's unique, isn't it?
That's right. No, this is going to be perfect. That's my plan. Perfection. Yeah. So.
Well, we may not hit perfection, but because I'm fighting some allergies and some sinus stuff and some throat stuff, but got my water and I'm excited. How have you been, Karen?
Good. It's finally turned hot. It's finally something that now it needs to be managed a little bit around here. So I don't look forward to those months, but
what temperatures are you today?
I think we're about 91 right now.
Are you really? Is the humidity feeling sticky? Ooh.
We're actually in a drought for the first time in a long time. So that actually helps with the chickens instead of everything being super moist. But we're looking for possibility of rain for the next 4 days. So
goody. Well, we are overcast, but it's in the upper 80s. So it's very humid here in southern West Virginia. And anyways, the tractor's good. I saw you got a tractor. I'm so excited. Okay. Any new developments with the land?
Nope, nothing yet. The tractor hasn't been delivered yet. So once it gets delivered, then.
Oh, I got you.
That should
when you shared that picture of you driving it, that was on the lot, huh?
Yeah, that was before they finished installing all the stuff. So it's still at the shop. So they have to bring it to me. I don't have a way to transport my tractor yet.
Well, before we jump in, how are the birds? Are they laying? Are they getting hot and slowing down?
Slowing down, but still laying. And that's one of the awesome things about having them all penned individually now. So now I know number 2, number 21, number 78, workhorses. Putting out. Yeah. So.
That's great. That's great. Well, cool. And you don't have a ton of chicks out, do you?
I have 138 so far.
And they're all pedigree.
I got one more. Yep. And I got one more round in the incubator to hatch this week. So I need to get my older ones out of the stacked brooder and into the yard so that I can make room for the new ones coming out.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, hey, we have an awesome guest that I'm very, very excited about. And so, what are we doing? We're doing the breed of the week and the breeder of the week. It's all around Lakenvelders, right?
Yep, we're gonna do those combined this time. So let's go ahead and let's do just a real quick rundown of the Lakenvelders because we all need to talk to Dave.
So let me tell you guys, first of all, welcome to the show. And I'm so grateful for how Karen produces this so quickly for us. And we put just from week to week. Now, fortunately, we've got some things planned out for the next few weeks. But the breed today is Lakenvelder, or some might call it a Lakenvelder, but I call it a Lakenvelder. And we might get corrected by our guests. But this breed is actually not one that I am super educated about. Karen, I had a couple of them in my flock as a teenager, but I never bred them. I never had a male and a female. I think I just had a few females, and I love them. I totally love them. And, and as we were talking and getting ready for the show, and I was looking at the standard, this bird's been around a while, hasn't it?
Yep.
I mean, it's been around and
as long as the Oscillorps, yeah.
And the really cool thing that I did not realize until we were preparing for the show is that it's a German breed. Established, with German origin, known in the country since like the 1830s or somewhere. And the thing that I'm so intrigued about, they were first exhibited in England in 1902, but they were admitted to our standard of perfection in 1939. And you're like, so what? Karen, that's the year my daddy was born. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. Now, this bird is it's an egg producer. It's got white earlobes, which means what, Karen?
Lays a white egg.
Did you just learn that from the show, or do you remember from all of our?
I would like to think that I've known that for a very long time. No.
That's good. That's good. It'll be fun to talk to our guest about. The history says that it's a non-sitting chicken. I'll be curious to see what David says about that. But anyway, so I mean, I think we ought to jump in. Are you good with that, Karen?
Yeah, you want to talk to him now? You can't wait. I knew you wouldn't be able to. All right. So hold on. Let's play our little song because I enjoy it.
Sweet. There he is. How are you, David?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, good, good. I am so glad that we have a good connection. And listen, the reason everyone who's watching the show today, the reason I'm so excited is because we have a guest, not only because of the breed, but he's outside and he's going to show us around. He's got a great Wi-Fi connection. And so we're going to see some really, really cool things. And David, I'm going to jump in because Karen tries to keep us focused, which is really important because I'm guessing because of your passion for this breed and my interest in wanting to learn, we could go for hours. So let's jump in, David. So it's going to be fun once you start showing people around. But our Lakenvelders, is that how you say it? A Lakenvelder?
I call it Lakenvelder, but you know what? Everybody has their own way of saying it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, Lakenvelder. I'm going to call it what the breeder calls it. What do the German call it? Lakenvelder?
Lakenvelder. Felder's field.
Lakenvelder.
A painting on a field.
All right. It means what?
A painting on a field. Basically what it is just a Laken's painting and field. That's how I translate it if you want to go direct.
Wow, that's so cool. A painting on the field. Wow. So are Lakenvelders the only breed that you have?
Currently, yes. I started I got some rose comb Rhode Island Whites chicks because I wanted a bigger breed, which I've tried a couple times, different bigger breeds, but I'm trying this one because this one is really a rare breed and I think it needs a little bit of help. So I think I'll give it a try.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And you're located up in Maine.
That's correct.
Are you in the center part of the state and the southern, northern end? Where are you at in Maine?
I call it central.
Okay. So. Very cool. And tell us just the short version of your story. How long have you been breeding?
Well, I stopped for a while, so I started as a child. I got my first batch. Like I said, I started with Murray McMurray. I was into game birds. Lakenvelders. I was into game birds when I was a little child. I loved them because I loved their activity. I loved how they were. I actually liked the flighty bird. I liked the alertness, stuff like that. So I said to myself when I was going on Murray McMurray, I ordered all these leghorns, and then I ordered these. I ordered leghorns, and then I ordered only 6 Lakenvelders, and somehow or other, I got so hooked on them, it was like a drug. And then, of course, when I got 18, 19, 20, I started getting out of them because I had to. I joined the military, and then I got back into them when I came out of the military. I already knew what I was going to do. I already knew I wanted to go back into Lakenvelders when I got out of the military. So
wow. So a big gap of time in between the Murray McMurrays and what you have now.
Correct. Murray McMurray back then had some really nice birds.
Did they really?
They did. I got some really good ones from them. They weren't perfect, but they were better than what you can get nowadays from the hatcheries. So
right.
Yep.
So the birds that you currently have, how long have you had them?
7 years.
Okay. Wow, that's a good chunk of time as well. And you guys wait till he takes us on a tour. You're going to be like, I wonder if he has like 20 birds. No, you wait. You are in for such a treat. Do not leave the show early. You will be very disappointed. So, so 7 years, and you kind of shared with us why you started breeding. I mean, you were around the game chickens, and then you got the few Lakenvelders, and the rest is history. You were addicted.
I got addicted really fast. They're not a dumb bird. They're a flighty bird, but not dumb. And I'm not saying Leghorns. I won't no comment on Leghorns. I couldn't keep Leghorns, but I know Lakenvelders have this mentality about them where if you're the owner and the animals you have around the farm, they trust the animals that they see every day. They're not flighty every time I go out there. They'll follow me around the barn, which you guys will see later.
Wow. Wow. So I'm curious, from when you were a child to the last 7 years, has anybody helped you? Has this been trial and error, just you by yourself, or who are mentors?
So what happened was I started out in Germany asking breeders over there.
I found
about 3 good breeders over there. And
so wait a minute, stop for a second. You were in Germany in the military, right?
Yes. Yep. That's it.
And so you thought, I'm going to hunt down some Lakenvelder breeders in Germany.
That was yes. And I can speak German, so it helped.
Okay, tell us kind of how it unfolded. This is cool.
I started going around, and I met 3. In the end, I met 3. I could tell you the whole story of how many I met. But the 3 that I met, every single one of them, let's sit down and have coffee. We're going to have cake. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. We talked for hours about that. I came back days later. We talked about that, talked about the birds once in a while. But you had to get to know them. You couldn't just go to the farm and go, hey, I got questions about this breed. Can you give me answers? That's not how it works. That's not I basically had to sit down and have coffee or tea with them and something to eat every time I went over, which it's good. The food's good, not a problem, but that's the way Germans are. One of the most helpful breeders I found was the old farm boy I met. He was a big German farm guy. He was a big dude. And he goes, let me tell you what I did. He says, what I use. And I go, well, I don't have that breed in America. So he crosses the breed in with his Lakenvelders to keep the black in the head and the black in the tail. So I used a breed over here that I thought was the best. And that's how I started working with it. 7 years later, I still get the traits of the old breed in them. Once in a while, not often. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So basically what you're saying is if Karen or I come to your place, first we're going to have cake and then we'll go do the birds.
Yeah, you guys are going to have food. You're going to have coffee. You're going to get fed really well. That's how it is here because we're kind of German here, you know?
I love it.
Come on over.
So any U.S. mentors, anybody here that's kind of helped you?
Definitely. I want to tell you something. I started with Ben Porter's birds. What I started with Ben Porter. I did Murray McMurray. And I got some birds from Dwayne Urch. I got some chicks from him.
Yeah, those are great breeders.
Exactly. Dwayne Urch as he aged, you could tell people weren't doing his birds like he was, so you could see, but they were still the type on them was what I was looking for. I needed type. You need good type when you start with something. You can get color and have no type at all. And I have birds like that. And you guys will see that when we do the walk around. But Ben Porter. I asked him, I says, how much do I owe you? He goes, those birds are yours now. I says, what? He didn't even charge me for them.
Wow.
He's a gentleman and a scholar is what he is. He's a great man. So I appreciate it.
He is. I've judged many chicken shows with him, and he and I went to Australia together on a kind of a poultry tour, and he's a great guy. And he loves, how I'm gonna make sure I tag him in this when he rolls his mustache up, but he knows his chickens.
He does, and he's got a sense of humor. Yeah. So he's not stiff.
Oh yeah, he loves to laugh.
He can talk to laugh. Yeah, he can make someone feel good about a disqualified bird at a show.
Yeah. So you share pictures with him, and he gives you feedback, huh?
He helped me with that too. Yep. And I share pictures with the 2 German breeders, and their birds don't have the same tail angle as ours. And of course, the saddle on theirs is more of a Colombian type saddle and not a solid black saddle. So,
yeah. So tell me, are you showing your birds? Is that part of the deal?
I do show them, but I'm not type of guy to go out of my way to show them. But I really would like to get to some of the national shows, because if I don't get to those shows, I'm really not. The birds aren't getting any. Nobody's looking at them. You know what I mean? I like to have more people get interested and breed this type of this breed, if I could.
Well, you know, Karen always asks me when we talk about various breeds. She's like, "How often do you judge them? How often are they in the showroom?" Not very often on a Lakenvelder. You don't see them. You're no. And so how high have you? I mean, do you compete with them or?
I have competed with them. When I first started out, I actually competed against myself in one show. So I actually lost to one of my Old English large fowl males. I won large fowl with him. Yeah, it's funny. I know I won large fowl with. It's weird, but anyways, the show wasn't a big show. And
I would have rather the Lakenvelder won.
Sure, I was kind of mad at the judge, but how can you judge Eric? Eric's a great guy, Eric Nelson. So I was like, okay, he's telling me straightforward my Lakenvelder wasn't as good. So I was like, I got you, no problem. I won't argue. So, but I then had at one of the county fairs here, I won large fowl with one of my Lakenvelder males.
Oh,
and I went on to one of the bigger shows to win not best in breed, but continental with him.
Nice.
So he's got a lot of young out there. But the big thing is his brother has a lot more young than he does out there, because his brother produces birds like him. He doesn't produce the birds that he looks like. It's just that isn't how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we are always curious. So how many birds might you take to a show? You only need one to win, right?
That's correct. Well, it all depends on the type of season. I'm only taking 2 to the next show, because during the breeding season, the hens and the males, they beat up on each other while they're in the breeding pens, because you try to get them close. You don't want to let them free range, because you can't, because other birds are mixing in with your flock, and they're all Lakenvelder, but I like to keep them in the breeding pens. So normally I show 2, but sometimes at the fair I'll show 6 or 7 or 8. They're not my best birds, but they're really good birds, because I want everybody to get a good look at different types that I have, different styles. I mean, you say the type should all be the same on every bird, but I have 4 different lines of Lakenvelders, and I keep getting weird stuff out of each line that I thought I'd never get when I breed them. So when I cross them, every once in a while I cross the lines up, and when I do, I get some really large birds, and that's why I do it. Because
you never take more than 6 or 8, the maximum 6 or 8 birds.
Maximum 6 or 8, and then I try to bring other birds to fill a void to help the show out, stuff like that.
So your transportation's nothing complicated, couple of boxes and off to the show you go, huh?
Exactly. So what I did I got these crates. They're airplane crates that people were using for cats and dogs, the small cats and dogs. I got about 10 of those.
They're perfect.
That's all I use, and they open up in the front. If you make the box too big for the bird, when they're in the box, they're going to fly up against the top, anything that startles them. So that's why I always put them in a small crate, pack them in, hope the tail feathers stay good. Normally in a wooden crate, the tail feathers stay good. If you put them in a plastic one, with all those openings, they get fringed. But
yeah. Well, before we go walking around, let me talk a little bit about some of your breeding specifics. So, how many breeders are you hatching off of roughly? You're collecting eggs from roughly how many girls?
32 to 34, and about 8 to 10 males, and sometimes I swap them out and then I breed again. But that's what I'm using. I'm not using a lot of birds to breed off. So
and are they all in a flock breeding?
No, I put them in certain pens. So I put a male to 5, sometimes 6, but it's normally the maximum is 5 in the pen with them. And I put a male to a female, so I pair them up. And you'll see in some of my videos where I have them paired up, because I picked the best male, the best female I could, what I thought would work. And I've got some of the young down there now. I'm hoping that pans out. I try that every year.
That's great. So roughly how many chicks do you hatch?
Most people would want to croak, but I hatch about 400 to 500 chicks a year.
I love that.
Just Lakenvelder. Yep.
I love that. I absolutely love that. On the average, 400 to 500?
400 to 500. When I first started, it was 1,000 something chicks I hatched.
Dude, you know what? Everyone watching this show, Mr. David is the real deal.
I don't know about that.
I love that.
Well,
yeah. So
I don't know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know if that's a true statement, but I appreciate it, Jim. I respect that. But I think what it was from the beginning, I didn't have good quality. So what I did is I went haphazardly. I bred, and I looked up in the sky and it says, God help me. That's all I could do because I didn't know what I was going to get. I tried everything I could. And then now I'm down to get 400, 500 a year. So there's a possibility that I may be normal. Like I say normal, you should be doing 100 to 200 a year. I think every breeder should do that.
They should.
Variety, and if you get 20 awesome birds, right, then you should find somebody else to get those birds out to.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is this, and we talk every breed, every show, responsible chicken breeding, that you have variation. So when you got 400 or 500 birds that you can choose from, you can keep the bar very high. You're looking for the best stuff, which kind of leads me to this next question is, in the last 7 years, what improvements do you feel like you've been able to make with the birds?
One of the biggest improvements is there were, these things did not have, except for Ben Porter's, they didn't have any resistance to anything. Nothing. They would die from everything. They weren't hardy. They were not hardy at all. I had the biggest problem with them, and that's one of the things. That was the big thing. And then number two, the color was the second thing. I was like, holy cow. When I did that, I was like, I started looking up, going, I'm getting there. And then when I got the color, I said, oh my God, my backs they're not good. So now I need to work on getting the backs right and the tail right and getting back to type. So I got really good birds that fit that, but not many. You know what I mean? It's not like I have 100 birds that are show quality. I think I have probably 20 good show quality birds right now that I'd take to the show. And I think I'm picky. That may be, but oh well. So
I think it's good that you're picky. Karen, isn't it cool how he ultimately refers to vigor?
Yeah.
We talk about vigor. We talk about, genetics that are sustainable from the immune system perspective. And that's great. That's great. And then of course, color's hard with those birds. And those of you who are listening on the show, you're going to see what we can learn from David, with this particular breed. So a couple other questions before we take a walk, Dave. What about identification with your birds as far as toe punches? If you're hatching 400 or 500, do you know who mommies and daddies are?
I got to use the toe punch method because with any kind of bird that's flighty, if you put a band on, it's gone. Unless you get a really solid band on. The problem with having 400 to 500, and I made the mistake, and I'll tell you I have, and I felt bad, where they outgrew the band, and I had some bad results, and I felt really bad because I love animals, and I eat animals, but I felt bad when it happened, so I went to toe punching. It's the most humane way for me to have the birds and have 400 hatch out. And then I know the lineage every time I do the toe punch. I know the lineage. If I cross lineage, I do an extra toe punch in the foot, and I know it's part of that other lineage.
That's so awesome. That's
all right.
Great.
I have to stop you because I always need to learn how to do this. So what age do you toe punch right out of the hatcher?
Right out of the hatcher is the best time to do it because what I do is if I don't put the bands on, they get them off. Now, if you got a larger breed, I think the bands would work, but they pull the bands right off. They peck each other's bands off and they pull them off. And then I don't know which ones I have and where they came from.
So you're able to do right out of the hatcher and they stay holes? They don't grow back in?
I have to redo them in 2 weeks. So that's a good question. Thanks, Karen, because that people do it and they get really irritated the first time. Yeah. Because you have to repunch them. You do have to repunch them.
But you do it at 2 weeks? No. Okay, good.
I do it at about 2 weeks because it starts filling in. Some never fill in again and some fill in. So I have to do it again at 2 weeks. And of course I check it monthly. But normally after that, there's the holes there and it's good to go.
So David, I read here in the standard, they're not a broody bird, are they?
That's funny. That's what I thought too, until I started putting them on the free range. And then the majority of my hens will go broody. So about 70% of my birds go broody, and it's annoying. Okay. They don't go broody in the barn unless you have something up in the loft. So I have a loft, I put hay up there, and I put fake eggs up there because otherwise they're out in the woods, and I'm talking deep in the woods, and they bring back chicks to you, and you're like, what? I thought the hen was dead. You can't find them. They bring them back. I had a hen bring them back through a swamp, and all those chicks lived. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I think I don't know, Jim, I can't prove it's because of my breeding techniques or it's because I free range them. I don't know because I always free range them. and I don't change my breeding techniques with them. So why mine go broody? I can't answer that.
But when you're hatching 400 or 500, though, you're using an incubator, aren't you?
I'm using an incubator. That's correct. So I do let them hatch their own, and that's fine. But when they get broody, the mothers are mean. They're very mean. They're like a game bird when they won't even let the males come near them. So it ends up being a hassle in my pens when they come in at night because the mother hen won't let anybody else in the door because she lays there with the chicks, and it's a pain in the neck. So I like to hatch my own. That's the only reason I do. So
yeah,
but I let them have guinea keats for me. So,
but you find them they're calmer. Lakenvelders are calmer than some of the other breeds. Like I mean, they get friendly with you, don't they?
They do with me, but anybody else walks back there and they freak out. So it's almost like they're a stranger danger type of animal.
Yeah.
So
all right, before we go for a walk, let's look at his pictures and his things he sent us. So you guys have some conversation about.
Now, is this a picture or a video?
This one's just a picture. We're going to do pictures first and then the videos.
Okay. David, talk to us. Why do you tell us about this bird?
This bird here in particular, if she doesn't molt bad and have black in her body, I'm going to try to take her to the Ohio Nationals. That's how confident I am in that bird. She's got a good tail spread. Her back in the pictures, because she's sitting up a little, is all nearly horizontal. Her wing carriage is correct. I love that bird. The male she's with, I'm glad you can't see his tail because his tail never really grew out correctly.
That's what you did. You took the picture so we couldn't see the tail, or she cut it off, one of the two.
Yeah, I cut it off.
So is this a pullet right here?
What's that?
Is this a pullet?
That's actually, at that time, she was a pullet. She's about 10 or 11 months old. She's a hen now. So, yep. She's actually reached her normal. She's reached the weight she should be at finally. I thought she'd never get up to the weight.
Speaking of, what are the weights for
well, the let me see. I got to get this right. The cock is 5. The cockerel's 4. The hen is 4. And the pullet is 3 to 3.5. Yep.
Yep, 3.5. He got it. The hen
I
is
can
4.
Forget that though.
Yeah. So they're pretty small birds.
They are. I get
their egg size?
Medium, sometimes large. It depends, but medium normally. They don't get that big. I have a lot of tinted eggs coming out of the chickens too, which is different. So I didn't expect that, and that's happened recently.
I've seen this picture before. You've sent it to me. She's pretty, so you can keep going, Karen.
All right.
Is this the same girl?
No, that one's one of my younger ones, and she's promising. I don't know yet what's going to happen with the color. She's got a nice back. Everything's really nice on her. So I don't know if I'm going to – we'll see what happens to her. They got to molt. She's got to molt one more time, and then I'll see if I'm going to bring her to the shows. She's a nice pull.
Yeah.
And she's brave.
How about this guy?
This guy here, the reason why I did the picture of him, the saddle's not black, and I was like, okay, the earlobe, the comb, the wattles, everything on that bird is good except his saddle. The way he carries himself and everything, and I really, if his saddle would blacken up, but that comes from the female line. You got to breed the male with the correct female line to get a black saddle.
Yeah. David, let's talk while we're on this male. Let's talk combs. Are you seeing a good consistency in a single comb?
I am seeing a great consistency in a single comb. The points sometimes I've had up to 8 to 9 points, and that's kind of discouraging. But
and the standard says what? 4 or 5?
5. It's 5. Yeah.
Okay.
And they should have a nice upward curve to the comb as it comes up, and that sometimes doesn't happen. Some have them sharp. It's not like it should come up nice and firm, medium-sized comb, and of course the earlobes too. I always get within the flock. I always get a good percentage still that don't have completely white earlobes. They have red in their earlobes.
Yeah. In general, do you like your males better or your females?
Oh.
It's like choosing children, Jim. That might not. Yeah.
I think you just put me in a really bad spot, Karen.
Hey, you can say I love my boys and my girls.
Yeah, that's right.
My wife's not here, so no. Let's put it this way. I love the fact that I get really good eggs from the females, and their temperament. I keep them a little bit more skittish than the males. The males normally are more calm. I love them the same. I love them in a different way, I guess, because what I love about the males is ain't nothing coming on the ground and bothering my hens, because the males are on it fast. They work in teams. They work in trios. They work like game fowl. I love the way they work. They work a hawk over fast. Game warden comes out and I'm like, I didn't do nothing to that hawk. Seriously, they will work a hawk over fast.
Wow. Now, Karen, I'm just curious. You like your Rhode Island red males or females better?
Here we go.
I'm not answering that. We're not on me today.
All right, let's show it.
That's just wrong, Jim.
I do have a question. You're raising a small stature single comb bird in Maine. How's that go over in the winter?
These things, you know what's funny? I thought it would be a problem too, but they're winter hardy. I think it's because I've had them up here long enough. I swear they get used to it. These birds even eating pine needles now when there's nothing else to eat. I don't know. This is what I mean. I swear every animal develops and acts, where its climate's at. If you were in a hotter climate, their combs will get bigger, I believe, too. You got to be really careful of that.
Well, listen, Germany's not hot, is it?
It isn't. I think they're more like, what state could I call it? Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania would be the closest state. So Pennsylvania.
When I read the standard, and even when I look at their combs, they're not big single combs, so that's a great benefit.
Yeah, if you had a large single comb, you're going to lose the tips on them. But really, what it is when a bird loses part of its combs, most of the time, it's not as hardy as it should be, anyways, because it doesn't have good blood flow. I check the combs. I check the combs on birds, and I check if they're hot or cold. A lot of times in my birds, to make sure. And I cheat sometimes. I do use Vaseline on my combs, and I do massage them, so I do cheat. Especially on a bird I really want to show, and I don't want something under the comb. So
well, about everybody does that. So let's see another picture.
All right.
Oh, here we go. I love it. These are my layers, right? Still a good breeder. The one that's not in the front, you can see her head, but the one that's right there with the blackener, that I believe, Jim, would you disqualify that bird, or what would you do to that bird? Now I'm putting you on the spot.
Well,
Karen, I'm good at this.
I mean, obviously I would, it says disqualifications, color other than black or white in any part of the plumage heavily marked with black on the surface of those sections. So a judge should probably disqualify her. Now,
I agree.
Based on what the standard says. I mean, she looks pretty nasty.
She has a lot of black in her, and I'd disqualify her too. But what's so good about her is her type. Look at the back and everything. That's what's so funny. But I get birds that have perfect type. I've had birds come out pure black, perfect type, and I looked at them. I'm like, well, thank you so much. Because you can't do anything with them. I mean,
I'm curious, David. Will she produce that same surface black?
No, what I do with her is I'm going to put her with that male you saw in the picture that has a lighter saddle. Yeah, my salad is always good, but so that's what I do in order to darken that saddle up, and they both have good type. So what I hope is that I get at least 10-20% that have good type and good color.
I'll tell you what, that bird's got good type for sure. She's got good type. All right, talk to us about these males.
This is a Donkey Kong one here. These guys are horrible. So you see the back how it slants, right? But they have nice color, perfect color, nice earlobes, and their back slants so bad. I don't know. You don't want to breed from them. You want to.
So is this a cull pen?
That's a cull pen, is what it is. I was letting them grow a little bigger so we could use them in our soup we have. It's hard to explain what it is in Germany. But I didn't call one of them out of there. The one that's in the very front, you can't see his whole body. I kept him because his back is nicer, but his tail, it doesn't come out at the correct tail angle. It should be out at the 45, and it comes out, I believe, at a 35 or somewhere around there. Yep.
Yeah. So just to have some fun, now that the name of your farm is up there, say it again for us, David. How do you pronounce those three words?
Well, now that I've been talking so much, I don't know if I can do it either. Thüringer, Lakenvelder, Bauernhof.
Does that mean something? I see the breed name.
That means paint.
Thüringen is a Freistaat, a free state from Germany.
Okay.
Of course, Lakenvelder is the That's how they write it and say it.
Yep.
And then Bauernhof is just farm.
Okay.
So you said the actual Lakenvelder word means, I wrote down, painting on a field?
Yeah, that's what it means if you translate it directly. It's kind of like a sheet on a field. So you're looking at your black and white. You got that white in between. You got the black on each side of it.
Dude, I love that. That is so cool. Because really, if you look at a good one and put it out on it's a painting on the field. How perfect is that?
True.
All right. What about this girl?
Me personally, I would disqualify this chicken, but the thing with her is she's got great color, don't get me wrong, but look at her tail. So I put her in there to show you they actually can have a horizontal back and a really bad tail.
The tail's high, right?
Way too high, way too high. Yeah. It doesn't look right, and she holds it like that, and she never changes it. So I've still got her because she lays. I think that one hen there, she's laying upwards around, I don't know, a year, maybe almost 300 eggs a year. She lays like crazy.
Yeah.
So I keep her just for the eggs. I don't breed with her.
300.
Karen loves.
She doesn't go.
She lays all the time. I have a guy that has my cull birds from me, and he goes, I don't think your hens will stop laying. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're Lakenvelder. He goes, no. And he says, yeah, that's the ones you got from me. They don't stop laying. So that whole number, 150 or something, I don't have mine laying like that. Mine are laying around I say average 250 a year.
That is awesome.
Including going broody. That would be impressive. Yeah.
They cut that down when they go broody. Those knuckleheads are probably only laying about 190. Yeah. I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Karen loves graphics, and this is our little showing you our tail angles here. See that?
He keeps talking about tail angles, so I thought I'd put it up. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, you, Karen. Thank you so much.
All right,
tail angle with me. I don't like a bird with a bad tail angle. That bothers me.
I love that's so good of you. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, she took on. So what happened was she hatched out she'll sit and she's on eggs right now, but I don't want her to hatch anything, so I can't get her off the egg. So what I did is I put a bunch of guinea eggs underneath her because I can't hatch a guinea out for my life of me. So I put these. I think there was like 30 guinea eggs underneath. I don't know how she set them all. 22 hatched out, and then some of the older guineas I put them in with her. And they went right with the flock, so she had them too. She raised those things out, and those guineas, when they're full grown, will follow her around. So,
oh my gracious!
I had to put that in there for the broody one, so people could believe me.
Hey, back up for a second, Karen.
Yep.
David, I noticed looks like good earlobes. Am I right? You got good earlobes.
She has perfect earlobes, and that she'd be going to the show, but she goes broody so much, her feathers look like. I've never taken to her show. I like to get her to stop going broody. She's one of the ones that I think that's all she wants to do in life is have babies. So.
We know some mothers like that, right?
Jim, is this a unique color pattern? I mean, is this replicated in other breeds?
No.
I mean, the Vorwicks, however, the other.
Oh, yeah, those would be a little bit, wouldn't they, David?
Yeah, the gold gene, the Vorberg. The only thing different, I think, in the standard is the saddle on those two. It's a lot different, actually, when you look at it. It depends on which standard you're looking at, but I think they copied. This is what got me when I looked at the ABA standard. They actually copied word for word the German standard, and I was like, oh my God, guys. Sorry I had to mention that on your show, but I was like, please. That was horrible. But yeah, it was. But they only have Bantam Vorbergs here in America in the standard, I believe, anyway.
Yeah, but that bird's pretty too, though.
Yeah.
She, like I said, if I could take her to the show, well, that was her daughter, though, on the picture. I forgot to mention that one that was walking, that young pullet.
Yeah.
That was her daughter. So what I'm hoping is I get some nice ones out of her that don't go as broody as her all the time that I can actually show.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I'm gonna play the videos now so he can rest his voice for a minute. So
thank you. Right. Appreciate it. Be my other voice.
Yeah, big boy. I can hear you from a mile away.
Oh, I gotta start at the beginning. Sorry about that.
Now I'll do a video of these guys again. You can see by his tail how it is and how his back is. He's got a really nice back. Yet again. Yeah, big boy. I can hear you from a mile away. This guy here has actually a Lakenvelder comb, a nice round in the front of the comb there. Getting a picture of her, she always runs to the back, so it's impossible to get a picture of her. She's a nice pullet. If I go around the other side, I'm wasting camera on this, of course. She still goes to the back every time. But that's a nice pullet. She's just a heavy pullet. 5 pounds, and that's...
So you like her, Jim?
Oh, I love her. So I like them both. So David, is this a pedigree breeding pen? You're trying to get eggs out of this pair?
Yeah, that was what I did this year. So I tried to do the pedigree thing instead of doing the male on 5 females and hope it works out. I attempted that this year. I do it every year with hopes of kind of honing in, you know what I mean? Getting that picture a little better. So, and the male in particular, they're both actually large. So their offspring they're big, but I don't know if I'm going to bring you to the show, but their color's turning out good on the offspring and they're looking pretty good so far. I mean, I can't tell until they get a little older. Yeah.
We're going to some other time need you to come back and talk about how you made these pens. They're intriguing. So, but anyway, I'll keep playing the video.
All right, here's another video.
Pretty heavy.
A lot of bending.
All right, so
that's the old.
Now I'll do a video of these guys again. You can see by his tail how it is and how he's back.
It's the same one. Sorry.
Yep.
Let me try again.
I want to spend some more time on these birds.
Here's the guy with a bad tail.
This thing comes in so blurry. If you get further away, you can see him better. I love this male. The only thing I don't like about him is comb. His tail's coming in nice. His earlobe is a little bit too big, but his back, nearly perpendicular, held his wings right. That's why I put him with this pullet here. She's not as big as she should be, but she'll get there. Not a bad looking pair of birds.
David, I missed that. What did you say about her comb? His comb.
Yeah, his comb was one of the smaller ones, and it didn't have that roundness in the front. And his tail really isn't good. It never really came in since then, so that's why I revert what I said there.
Yeah.
It was coming in, then it stopped. It never grew anymore. So I don't know if I let him molt. I'm gonna let him molt because he's a really nice bird. It's just his tail and his comb is it's just too small and it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So Karen, are we? I think the best part of the show is yet to come. Are we still kind of going to do a tour with him?
So let's just talk real quick about ask him that last question there about predators. What? Yeah.
Oh, predators. How do you keep your birds from predators? Look at what is this? Talk to us about it, David.
So if I do the walk around now, you'll be able to see this better. Because remember, Karen, when we walked around, I showed you this same stuff we talked about, how I secure my birds.
Yep.
Well, it's my attempt at securing birds and kind of using my flock together without using too much, other stuff like fences and stuff. So,
all right. Go on out.
Walk around then. Here we go.
All right, Jim.
Great.
I'm gonna take me off the screen so that his picture's bigger. Okay.
Oh, okay. No way! I'm gonna get bigger.
Yep, you're gonna get bigger.
I'm gonna gain weight again.
I'm gonna stay on audio wise though.
I'm coming out. I sat down too long, so I'm walking funny right now. So I apologize.
While you're walking, David, how many acres you got?
I've got 20 acres.
Nice. That's enough for a lot of chickens, buddy.
It is, and that's the reason why I only raise one breed, right? I'm selfish. I should have more breeds, I know. So, but
no, you shouldn't. I wouldn't. I love the idea that you only have one breed. I absolutely love it. You become the expert that teaches the judges.
Well, I don't know about teaching judges, but I'll
dude, in my 45 years, I mean, you learn the most from single breeders, and I mean that's the things you've said and the things I love it. Anyways, we you can he can turn his camera around, right?
I'm gonna turn it around, so now you don't have to see me anymore, so I can do anything I want to with my body. Just kidding around. Here you go. So this is one of the bigger mold pens I have. What I like to do a lot of times is, and I usually charge these with solar panels, so I have them out here too, is I have these types of chargers, and I put the wire right at the base. So these are for the younger birds. So I put the wire right at the base. So anything coming in's got to hit that wire. This is just a meat bird pen here. So
okay,
that's what I use for them. And then when I really want a free range, I stick about 12, 13 males on a free range like this. So these guys have absolutely no protection at all. They can run underneath this barn over here, but at night they're out in the open. The reason why I have these guys out here, though, is because their main purpose is to protect these meat birds over here.
Ah.
The fence itself is great. It protects them. I'm going to try to keep away from the fence because they're going to follow me. The meat birds follow me worse than the other ones do. But
I just heard that Lakenvelder crow.
Oh, these guys crow all the time. This is a big crew out here. I got 13 of these guys.
Are those keepers or cull pin?
Kind of a mix. I don't know. This was one of the single matings I had.
Okay.
And these are turning out really good from that. So we'll see if I keep or cull those. I'm not sure yet. So
okay.
But
and you said you leave them out day and night, right? You're those roosters.
I do the Lakenvelders. I lock these broilers up at night because the Lakenvelders are going to go up on the roost. They roost on this fence, and sometimes, well, they'll get up on top of anything. They'll roost anywhere. They're kind of a, like I say, they like to get up high. So, and of course now the cats are. See how they react to the cat? This is the key here. They know the cat, but they're going to follow that cat because she's getting close to the broilers. They don't like that. See how they're coming over? They're amazing. They're so protective. But this electrical fence works, of course, for keeping out stuff at nighttime. This really isn't during the day. So, and you recognize how the Lakenvelders don't come over here and harm these birds. They're not aggressive when they're on free range, but if you lock them in a cage together, they're just like any other bird. They don't like to be locked in. So, but that's how I keep these guys protected here. That's kind of my security thing here. What I do with security, how I think of security is layered security. You have different levels of security, what you do. So you have things that back it up, like I have moving strobing lights that I use too.
Yeah.
I don't use them all the time. I turn them on every once in a while and I move those around. I even move an electrical wire around on different spots where my chicken's free range. So if something does come during the day, the chickens can get through the electrical wire, but the predator can't.
Yeah.
So they hit the electrical wires. Foxes come during the day sometimes, or a dog does. They hit it and they're gone. That's kind of how I deter, because there's no really any predator proof thing that you can have.
David, take us to I know you might have a route you're going on, but I want to make sure when we were pre-show and you were showing us a whole bunch of birds, let's see some of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk around the woods to get to that because I can go this way, it's easier. That's my wood line there, and I set these, and I'm not going to go back there to show you, but I set a lot of live traps back there with bait in there. I even set live bait sometimes if I've got to.
What are you trapping? Raccoons?
Raccoon, skunk. That's the only thing that goes in there. We have what's called a fisher cat here. It's not a danger to my chickens. It's more of a danger to my cats, but I only catch skunk and raccoons in that. But getting rid of them, because they're the pestiest animals I have around here. They're not really afraid of my dogs. They sneak around. So
wow.
Yeah, I'll take you back here because I really want to show you. I have no security back with these birds at all, but these are full-grown Lakenvelder males I have back in the woods back here. And then we'll go down by the barn.
That's great. So is this a grow out pen, or are they just out? Are they have boundaries?
These guys are just out. They're in these cages out in the woods is what they are.
Okay.
The only thing I do out here is I have my dog come on and we mark, and that's all we do. So.
Wow. Are those individual pens?
These are individual pens for them.
Oh, okay.
These are all potential breeders, and some that I may show.
Wow. Okay.
If you could come to the spring show up here, you'd see this guy here. This is one I'm going to show.
Yeah. What spring show are you talking about?
The one up here in Maine.
Yeah.
And the Maine.
What weekend is that?
What's that?
What weekend is that? That
is the 30th. So it's going to be, it's the last weekend in May.
Okay.
Yep. I'm moving out to go down and show you those chickens that I showed you guys earlier.
Yeah.
They were following me around, so I'll show you these. I got a couple males here that are bordering my dogs. These are a couple that I don't want anything to happen to. I'm looking forward
Karen, you've seen all this, huh?
No, he didn't show us this earlier, so I'm excited.
I'm taking a different route this time, but it's okay because I can go back the same way I came, or I can go this way. So
that's so cool.
Those male pens are deeper than it looked like. What's the dimensions on those? Do you remember?
They're 4x4s.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to have a higher place for them to fly, because they really need to be flying 6 feet, 7 feet up and roosting. But
some fly pens, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
bet your birds. I bet them if you turn them loose, Lakenvelders will go up the trees, won't they?
They go up. This is funny. This is so funny. They'll go up actually as far as they can. I've had them up 80 feet. You see these big tall pines? Mm-hmm. If you don't cut branches up to 8 or 9 feet, and they'll still get up in the pines. They'll be up in the trees. So here we go. Here's what you got, what you saw earlier, but a reverse. Oh my word, this is ridiculous.
He's walking to my dream come true there, Jim. Can you imagine having that much space and all that infrastructure? I'm so jealous, Dave. And I know you worked hard for that all your life.
I just landed a heck of a deal when I got out of the military because I came to Maine. And the economy up here and everything is different up here. The housing price is lower.
Where were you born at, David?
What's that?
Where were you born?
I was actually born here.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go this way, but then I'm going to go back where we were before and go around the other way. So these guys are friendly.
Wow. Check this out.
These guys will sit here and particularly a couple of the males will come up to me if I sit here long enough. We're talking right up beside me, so most of them will come up. So
you've got to still look at all these Lakenvelders. You still got to go through all these, huh?
Yeah, I called about 52 so far, and the freezer's it's starting to get fuller than last year. So we'll see what I do with the rest.
You put a ladder up there for your birds to be able to go on the roof better? Is that what?
Oh, that's me. I got to get up there. They can get up on the roof without a ladder.
Just teasing.
That's for when they get on the roof, and I got to climb up and take them off the roof and take them to a show.
There you go.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Did you build this building?
The inside, we did all the inside. Me and my friend, well, actually my cousin, we did the whole inside. But I had actual builders do the outside because I couldn't do that.
Right.
It's too tall. So I got a whole flock in here now too. It's ridiculous. But I don't like them in here, but they come in here and they lay their eggs up in this loft. So these are all my pens. I won't go back there. So I do want to show you this though. This is the pen I showed you guys a preview of earlier.
Oh,
this is where I'm keeping my promising pullets at, and I have a couple males in here with them too.
Wow.
They're not afraid of me.
How many are in there?
26, I think.
Okay.
I lost count the other night when I was putting them in.
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
Are those some more individual pens there?
I have a total in my barn of 12 10 by 10s. And then I have on the outside, as you can see, both sides, I have these overhangs is what I have. So.
That's great. Wow.
Oh, here we go with the geese again. I'm not going to be able to get, it's going to get loud, but oh well. I might as well do the same thing we did last time. So. Some of the young males are over there too, so.
Is that a separate building right there?
That's an all-male pen. I'm going to have to get around the geese. I'll get her out. I'm near the egg.
I told you people this is going to be the best show yet.
I'm retreating. That's it. I've had enough of that. There we go. I'm inside now. There we go. Now, that's my brooder.
His geese are sitting on eggs. So.
That's why.
Yeah, they are. They chase me every time, and they know me.
What are they? Are those Chinese?
Those Emdens.
Okay. Okay.
I won't show them, but I do breed to the standard, but I won't show them. I just don't like showing geese.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a couple of my floor brooders here that I have. This one here just took some babies out. And like I said last time, trying the metal, I didn't like the metal. It didn't work with the birds. Some reason they don't do good inside of there. So I built these on the side over here. And then, of course, my wood stove and my wood. This is my messy room. And I have my incubators, and I have an office room in there, but I'll stay out of there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to escape the geese on the way out. So
what kind of Dave? Back up. What kind of brooders are those?
This brooder here, or
that one right there.
You know, I won this. I put $5 in on a raffle, and I won this. They're the Tractor Supply brooders.
Oh,
they're stackable brooders that have Tractor Supply. So I got it.
Those are new this year, aren't they?
You know what? This is one of the older ones, and they got a bunch of them in. They don't know how to use them, though, unfortunately, the right way. That plate is too high, the heater plate. So I end up buying my own heater plate. Plus, that heater plate only lasts one season, and it breaks. They're not very good. So I use the heater plate there. And this is the other breed that I'm giving a hand at. So, yep.
Yeah.
Because then you see I do raise stuff for meat, too. So, but, yep.
That's great.
I'm going to try to run these geese here real quick. I'm going to try to.
$5 is a pretty good price for them.
Yeah.
Get away from the eggs.
Oh, that's last time. You can tell that my, see how rough looking my breeder males look? I'm going to get out
That
of
was
here.
the breeder males?
Yeah, those are the males I use in the breeding pens, and they're just rough looking.
Yeah.
You put them in a breeder pen, and the thing is they do not like to be confined together. They want to be running around. So, and that's of course the front of my barn right there.
Yeah, there's your farm name. I see it.
That's it right there.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah.
And I think I told you before, Karen, I've got this one dog. He's up all day. So he keeps an eye on the chickens all day. And then I have 2 Great Pyrenees that sit back too, and they're on the farm at nighttime. They do all the work. So
that's a lot of layers of security. That's good.
Yeah.
You've got an active, vigorous bird that takes care of itself and its friends, it looks like.
Well, we're
some electricity and guard dogs. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Dave, thank you so much for being on our show. I mean, this was fantastic. And you know the birds, you know the breed really, really well. And Karen, was there anything else we wanted to ask him? Because we're kind of running out of time.
Yeah, no, we're good. Anything else you want to tell us, Dave?
No, I think I'm out of wind.
Yeah, I believe it.
I don't know.
Listen, there's at least 2 things I want to say to you before we slip out. Number one, I love your dedication to one breed. And I know I've said it, but I love it. And what you know about them and the color pattern and the tail angles and the too much black and the earlobes and the combs, you're able to articulate. And I love how connected you are to the German people. That was totally awesome. And then the other thing is I want to thank you for serving 20 years in the Army and serving our country. I want to make sure that we say thank you to you on the show publicly. And so, anyways, we will definitely, well, and the third thing I would say is you have inspired me greatly to get up there and bum around the farm. Not only that, but I might get some German sit-down fellowship with you, right?
I think that's going to happen. You can't get around that, so you have to. That's just the way it is. If I didn't do it, I'd be in trouble with my wife. So
that's right.
All right. Well, give us a full shot of your shirt for us.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to tell you about the shirt. Can you guys see what it says?
Yeah.
It says I like chicken and coffee.
Yeah.
And then it says down here,
and maybe
3 people.
Yeah.
And maybe
me, myself, and I. Yeah. Me, myself, and I. Everybody's like, are you really non-social? I go, no. Yeah. That's a joke. It's the opposite of what I really am. That's why I wear the shirt.
Yeah.
I love it. It. We got the full shot. David, thank you again for joining the show. We will, Karen and I put our heads together. We'll probably have you back on. But I'm going to just spread this Lakenvelder, this responsible chicken breeding show everywhere. And who knows, you may get some people messaging you and may get
probably more than you want. Yeah.
That's the problem sometimes. And I can't keep up with too many people messaging me. So if people are going to do that, I just ask them to be patient because I have trouble with keeping up with who I'm messaging. That's one of the issues I have. That's why I had to get out of the military because of it. So they just got to be careful when they message me. They got to understand that I'm not being rude. I just don't remember who they are,
Hey, and that's true for all of us. So you're no different than the rest of us. Yeah. So, hey, thanks again, David. We're out of here, right? Karen, we all done?
Well, I'm going to remove David, and then we have and then you got some housekeeping about next week. And
yes. Yeah. Next. Oh, thank you. You're so good at producing this. Next Monday is Memorial Day, so we will not be on the grid, and we won't have a show on Memorial Day. 2 weeks from today, Karen is who we having back? Jeff, right?
Jeff Maddox, yeah.
Yeah. So, and do we want to sneak preview what you guys are talking about? Or are we still working on that?
We're going to talk about the main subject is going to be how to deal with your males year round and calcium. Like, just be careful about. I can't tell you what to do, but we're going to talk about males and calcium. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what's happening the next 2 weeks. And we've got
I don't think you'll be here, right, Jim?
I will not be here in 2 weeks. No, we may do something pre-recorded, but I will not be on the show. And
they'll have to suffer through with just Jeff and I, but He's entertaining. He can be entertaining. I promise everybody.
You'll be fun. It'll be fun.
So, all right. Now I'll let you go.
All right. Bless you all. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I hope it was you learned as much as we did about the Lakenvelder.
I think you can choose. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.